Market conditions remaining bearish, majority bearish at 14 on S&P 500, majority bearish at 10 and 4 on the 1 hour time frame of S&P. You can see a little bit of support starting to happen right here, some bullishness trend starting to shift, getting this expansion of trend, but starting to see it also turn back up just a little bit right here. We also saw a breadth of the market strengthened just slightly. I think we were at 27. We're back to 32. Still towards the lower end of that range. Can certainly get lower. The most extreme is down into that teens number. 10 at that range is definitely deeply oversold. Anything above 80, deeply overbought into some of those ranges. So we're sitting still at a range where we could get a bounce, but could also continue to see this trend expansion of breadth move lower. We're also seeing some softening in VIX as the market has been stabilizing here. So essentially almost the exact opposite price pattern here in this trending move down on VIX as S&P 500's bullishness. Not quite as much, but they typically will correspond like that, where you're seeing volatility starting to come back down. It was really extreme, starting to retrace back down. Doesn't necessarily mean it's over, but a little bit of a reprieve may be taking place. We're seeing futures a little bit lighter right here, 0.3 to the downside, but also seeing majority bullish now on that on the 1 hour time frame for S&P futures. And again, we're at that range, we're at that location where we could see a bit of a bounce, potentially just counter trend back up. We're looking now at everything overhead as resistance areas. We've got a supply block here. We've got another supply block here. This is our current trend time frame, at least from the most recent swing low in September on S&P 500, and we've retraced back even deeper than the 618 retracement zone. So deeper retracement here. We'll see if we do get any fall through back up. We'll be watching for retracement either or resistance around that 5689 and that 5780 range. Again, resistance just being that overhead supply. Buying into it, more sellers right here than buyers. Reverses if there's a few more buyers and we push back up in. We've got a big demand block of all of this selling. Supply block right here. Supply meaning sellers. Some resistance starting to come back in here as well. So again, market conditions still overall bearish, but looking for a potential little shorter term rally, and that may not, it may be a good strong, solid rally, or we may run into the resistance area here again. Let's jump over and take a look at bonds. SHY continuing to show some strength right here. A little bit of softening, some counter trend activity, retracement happening on that 1 hour time frame of SHY as we're seeing that 2-year yield also move back up a little bit, back up above 4%. So as bonds are retracing back down and consolidating, we're seeing rates kind of do the same thing at the bottom end of this. So we'll see if we get rates continuing to be strong this direction, or if we end up seeing those if this bearish trend takes over here in rates. TLT long into that yield curve, we're seeing that also showing some strength right here, and similar type price pattern, some consolidation. 1 hour time frame, we've got majority bearish trend compressing right here. If we take a look at that on the yields themselves, 10-year yield, seeing majority bearish, but a compressed trend happening here on that daily time frame, and some potential resistance happening here around that 435 rate level on the 10-year. So inside of a range now, 435 to 420. We'll see which one ends up winning out right here as well. But lots of volatility happening here in rates over the last several sessions. Dow Jones Industrial Average seeing a similar type price pattern to the S&P 500, majority bearish at 14 on the daily time frame. You've got a supply overhead right here at that 420 range. On again, this is DIA, the ETF for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. 420 resistance, 426 resistance on the Dow, Triple Q's, NASDAQ 100 also has broken down through what was a demand block. It's now become supply overhead resistance here at these levels, and be watching for this counter trend. So just think of these areas as potential areas where selling could take place. The last move that we saw back here, we saw a really sharp rally after that sell-off, and we'll see if there's enough catalyst, or if there's any type of catalyst to push the market back up again, back up into these ranges. But again, this is part of the reason why bearishness really reigns right here. Is we just had a really sharp sell-off at the top end of a really long uptrend, a couple of year uptrend here. IWM also showing weakness on the daily time frame, majority bearish, but also getting that little bit of a hiccup here of bullish tone after an extended downtrend. Again, these become the decision point locations when we have compression and when we have expansion. Those are areas where ideally we're in some kind of a bearish trade and taking profits. This can also be an area to say, a decision point. I'm going to be selling at this location, or I'm going, if I'm in a bearish trade, or I'm looking for an opportunity for selling into a rally, or I'm looking for a shorter term bullish trade. When you get that really wide expansion area, those just don't last. Neither do the compressed areas last very long. So we're moving, it's kind of that breathing of the market. We're moving from compressed to expanded, compressed to expanded. That's just that nature of that trend profile in any market. In this case, we're looking at IWM. USO, also oil, showing a little bit of strength right here towards the bottom end of that trend. Still majority bearish. It's got a lot of work to do, and nothing real substantial as of the last session or so. GLD, on the other hand, continuing its breakout move to all-time highs. This is gold, and continuing to see that trend expand. We're going here again from compression, now starting to expand again within this overall massive uptrend that gold has been experiencing. Now back again to some of these all-time highs. Silver also looking really good, as it is also showing nice strength after compression and moving into that expanded trend, and potentially testing some of these most recent all-time highs for silver as well. A couple stocks to consider in both in the energy space. We've got DTE, which is got a nice confirmation bar, increasing volume the last two sessions. Not big volume, but increasing, and right at that 236 support area inside of that momentum zone. And a nice looking setup there. AVA, also a similar type setup. These are the primary formations that we're looking for confirmation of trend, for either early entry or continuation entry, where you get a rally early into that new trend, pull back, finding support at these locations with some confirmation. And this allows you to set stop losses below the confirmation location. If you don't have access to the filters or the methodology, you can access the Discord room, which is in the description of the video. There's a link that'll get you in there and get you access to these indicators, as well as some of the methodology for you to learn and understand. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.